Good afternoon. This is Pat4USA. It is January 2nd in the afternoon. And I'd like to say something for the American people, in behalf of the American people. I'd like to talk a little bit about myself to start with. I've been leading people since 1970, and I know what it is to be a leader. I'm not an educated man. I'm not fancy in speaking or anything like that, but the American people need a leader. We have not had a leader for over 20 years, and it is kind of sad that all we have right now is self-righteous people that are out for power in themselves. They forgot how to be a leader. And the true fact of a leader is the leader, it's not his way or the highway. It's the right way. A true leader gets people together. They talk about doing what's right for the country instead of what I feel that the country should do, or try to be a dictator to the country. This country is made up of American people. It's the American people that own this country, and all of a sudden it's turned around that the politicians think that they own the country and the people have nothing to say. And quite frankly, that's the way it's been going, and it's accomplishing nothing. So I'm here to speak a little bit about leadership, which is really important to the American people as the way I see it, and what a true leader is, and what America is all about. Remember, America was made up for a republic and a freedom of people to come here. True Americans all have a value and have a belief, and we all can believe different things. We can believe different ways of living, different ways of doing things, and we can all be satisfied with that, to the fact that as an American, I don't have to agree with you. I don't have to live the way you do. I don't even have to associate with you. But as an American, I have to respect you for the right to have that belief so that I can have my belief. And I think that's what everybody misses here. Everybody thinks that if you don't believe my way, you're not an American. Well, they better think about what they are, because a true America is a person that wants to believe it his way and live his way and be respected for that just as much as somebody else. And that's what it's all about. The only time that you don't respect another American for his beliefs or his way of life is when he lies. When he lies, he has no respect for me, nor does he deserve it. When he hurts the fellow American, whether I agree with the fellow American or not, nobody messes with my fellow Americans. We stand up for one another when somebody's out to hurt or cause trouble to them. And deception seems to be the way of life with our government right now. And that's a problem. That's a problem for the American people. And the American people not only deserve the right to fire these people because they work for us, but somehow it all of a sudden that the only choice we have is to vote somebody new in. So we go and vote a new liar in, and he doesn't do anything either. It's amazing. It's kind of a trap. So basically where we're running right now is endless. There's no responsibility in our government, and that's a problem. And if we don't change that and change it fast, there will be no salvation for this government. There's one bill that the American people deserve and should be put through unanimously for all of the American people. And until that bill is put through, there's no saving American right now. And with that said, I want to talk about our administration right now. There is no respect for our administration overseas, over abroad, throughout the country. There's no respect for them as far as I'm concerned, and they don't deserve my respect. They lie, they break laws, they assassinate people in their self-righteous way. And that's got to stop. If I was invited to the White House tomorrow for a banquet or something, I couldn't go because I am a leader of people, and I'm not going to go to somebody that I believe that should be in jail. He shouldn't even be in the White House. And the American people, all they do is make excuses for whatever. And I want to say something about prejudice in America. America is not prejudiced. And I'm getting sick and tired of our officials trying to keep it here. America is not prejudiced. Are there prejudiced people out there? Absolutely. And we need to deal with that. But America itself is not prejudiced. The only prejudice that America has right now is self-induced by our higher-ups and officials that want to keep it there for power and use of dividing the American people. I'm tired of this divide and conquer, prejudice, rich to poor, to illegals to not illegals, not enforcing the laws. It's got to stop. And there's one way I could run this country and do more in 1 year than they've done in the last 20 years with the one bill that needs to be passed. Because there's one bill that can be passed, and I'm gonna explain the bill here in a minute, and then I'll tell you how I could change this country afterwards. With that said, for our simple-minded politicians and fellow Americans, we'll start considering everyone as fellow Americans and forget the politician stuff, because that's got to stop too. The thing is, we need a simple bill, and I'll simply name it simple for the politicians and the president and the media so they can understand it real easy. And the bill is a one-page bill. It's a three-line bill. It's strictly for the media, of all media. It's for the president. It's for the politicians. It's also for all government fellow Americans. No different than I'm held to when I speak to them. And the bill is liar, liar, pants on fire. Number one, if somebody gets caught spreading a lie, they have to apologize immediately and tell where the lie came from so that we can deal with it. If they don't do that, they step down and lose all benefits. Number two, if they get caught telling a lie, they step down immediately and lose all benefits. Number three, if they do an evil lie. What is an evil lie? An evil lie is for the educated people, the real brilliant people that take the truth and twist it to make it into a lie, to apply a lie. But say, oh, I told the truth, I didn't tell a lie. I just cut a video all up and only showed the parts that apply a lie. I just reworded it a little bit, and it's all truth, but it told a lie. Those people should be dealt with severely. Those people not only should be fined, lose their job, all benefits, do no less than 5 years in jail, which they would expect us to if we lied to Congress. Period. And at the time of accusation of a lie, it has to be resolved within 30 days and get done with it. Any bill that's presented in a lie, nullified immediately if it's a lie. We need to make our people accountable. Now, with that said and that done, we can start changing this country. We can start uniting the people together. In the way that I would go about it, I would get my fellow Americans together and tell them we're gonna go after one thing at a time. And the first thing that we're going to go after is balancing the budget. I'm going to tell I'm going to give the guidelines to my fellow Americans and give them 30 days to get out there and cut all fat in the government. cut any fat they can find and put it on a one-line bill. I don't care if it's 1,000 bills. Anytime that you have to muddy up a bill with more than one thing, then it isn't worth it being a bill. We've seen it in the last 20 years. They'll broadcast one thing that they're doing great for them, but before they get it done, they flea bargain 10, 12 things so people will vote it in, and the bill has actually done more damage than good. That's got to stop. There's nothing wrong with one-line bills. You can read them, and you can make a judgment on them and say yay or no. You pass them or you don't. Anytime you have to have a bill that takes 3 weeks to read it and try to figure out what's in it, you have no business even voting on it. Period. While my fellow Americans are doing that, I will sit down with the military and find out what the military is doing. That's my #1 job. And find out what we're doing abroad and where we're spending our money and what we're accomplishing and why we're not accomplishing securing our country. If we can spend our military out there to patrol and protect other borders, it's a poor excuse for not having our borders protected and sealed. And that is an automatic. It has to be done. That's what my job is, to protect this country, not to play games with this country or flea bargain throughout the world. We're not a world dictator. We're a world mega power, and we are going to be respected for that. We're not a world dictator. We're not out to tell everybody else what to do. Then we're hypocrites in our own cause. We're out to respect other people, other countries, and if they do harm to our allies or anybody else, we're to be there to help put them in their place immediately. With that said, I'll reoccur with my fellow Americans, and we'll cut the government down, hopefully, in size. And I mean cut. We're not flea bargaining. You know, I've heard of the penny plan, the 8-year plan, all these plans. You know, all it is smoke screens. I mean, you're not cutting government by doing a penny plan. You're just making it exist for another day to die. You're not doing anything. That's not the way the American people work. If the American people work, they work like the Hoover Dam. We say we're going to balance the budget, we're going to do it. And we're going to shrink government to do it. So we cut the government. So we get back, government is now from here to here. Now that we've done that, then we go in and we tell our fellow Americans, let's cut benefits and waste in the politicians' area. Let's make sure that we clean our belts up and get that out. And they can go out and hunt that down together collectively and come up with bills to cut that down. Then I'll go back to law enforcement and find out what we're doing about law enforcement, making sure we're upholding our laws, making sure that we're following the rule of the law. If the law is no good to follow, then somebody can change it. But until then, the laws were put in there for a reason. Let's uphold them. Let's keep the people in bay. The lawbreakers don't get free rides, and we start dealing with the lawbreakers, cutting crime down, cutting illegals down, finding out what's going on, who's invading this country, and start eliminating. Can you do it all at once? No, but you can do it. The American people can do anything if they put their mind to it. Then I'll go back to the fellow Americans as we took the country, shrank the government more, and now united the government to the point where they've cut themselves down to be a true America. We can go after cutting American benefits down to be true Americans and start joining together to make a strong American. This is a part that's all of us. It's not a part of them or these or we. It's being responsible. We cannot spend money we don't have. We cannot give away things that we don't have. And there's no reason to give stuff away, because my motto for America when I'm in there, in the government, if I took the opportunity to be there, it would be, don't ask what you can do for your country, but ask what you can do for yourself. What happened? We don't know how to do anything for ourselves anymore. We've made ourselves a bunch of mushballs, and if something goes wrong, we blame it on the government or somebody because they didn't tell me how to wake up in the morning or get to a job. My God, people, we have to get over this. We have to start doing for ourselves. That's what America is about. Our country will protect our boundaries and protect our other stuff, but not get in the way of our lifestyle, not get in the way of telling us how to live. That's our job. It's not the government's job to dictate to you how to live. If you need that kind of government, go. There's a lot of them all over the place. Go to Cuba, North Korea, go to China. Go somewhere where they just tell you what to do, if that's what you need. But that isn't what America is about. And that's not what we want America to be. So we have to get over that. Then I'll go back after I put them people on another task. Hopefully as they get used to making bills and cutting, it'll get to be easier and easier. Then I'll go back and talk to the energy people and see what we can do collectively together to be energy efficient, self-efficient. Not by giving away the hat or giving away the checkbook, by sitting down collectively, get together and see what needs to be done, and let's get it done. Nobody's out here to destroy the country, destroy the world. We have a true bunch of Americans, and we're all in it together, and we need to get it done so that we can be energy efficient and create jobs, just in that alone. Then I'll go back to our government, or my fellow Americans, and see what they came up with on shrinking other benefits. And we'll be talking to the American people that we're all the same, we're all equal, and we all should be proud to be fellow Americans. And one thing I've learned in 45 years, when you treat people with truth and honesty and respect, they may not like what you're doing, but they will respect you for what you're doing because what you're doing is right. And deep down they know it's right. And the last touch, is the big touch that we need to attack. Once we get our budgets settled and everything else settled, and get the government out of the American people's lives, business-wise. They have no business being in business-wise so they can handle their own business right. We need to sit down and talk about the tax code, unfortunately. We've made the tax code into a divide and conquer and a mess. We need to get back to a very simple tax code, either a sales tax or a simple income tax, and an equal tax for all Americans. And what is an equal tax for all Americans? I don't care if you make $1 million a year, if you make $100 a year. What makes a true American tax and a true uniting of Americans, if I make $100 and there's a 10% tax, I want to pay 10%. I want to pay $10. If a millionaire makes it, he's going to pay $1,000 or $100,000. Excuse me. But that's what a true American is. I shouldn't begrudge somebody for making more money. That's what the American dream is. If I don't like making $100 a year, so to say, then I get my butt kicked in gear and get out and do the best I can and make more. That's what the dream is about. And I don't get punished for making more. I pay the same as another American, so that American that's making 100 is just as important as I am making millions of dollars, because he's paying the same weight as I'm paying. He's doing his equal part of being an American, and so am I. And to do that, we have to eliminate all the free benefits. Rich, poor, everything. We got to get over this stuff of giving away stuff just because somebody has more kids, because they don't make much money, stuff like that. We got to get rid of that. That's just a tool to divide and destroy America. We got to get back to the simple things. We're all equal. We all pay our share, and we all feel proud about that. How could you feel proud of not paying anything and having leeching off of your fellow Americans because they make more than you? You know, I can bring you back to a story once when I was younger, and I used to associate around with more wealthy people than me because I always wanted to try to get ahead, and I figured the best way to try to get ahead is learn from the people that are farther ahead than me. And I respected them, and I did learn some things from them. You can learn every day of your life. It's constant. If you stop learning, then you might as well be dead. But I invited a wealthy couple out one time to dinner, and me and my wife, and we took them out. And came time for the check, and he reached to grab it, and I looked at him, and he said, "Excuse me," and he says, "Well, I make more money than you in that." And I says, "Listen, that's not the issue. I invited you out to dinner. You're insulting me terribly, and I don't appreciate that, and get your hand off the bill, and I'll pay the bill." What happened to those kind of Americans? They don't care. I think people like to take people out and they want free ride on everything. What happened to raising your people not to lie, your children not to lie? It really hurts me a lot when I see it. And then when somebody says, you know, that guy's lying a lot, and you know what happens? We go to the negative side. We make excuses for it. Well, this guy did it, that guy did it, this guy did it. Does that really matter? Get over the excuses to keep lying. He's lying. A liar doesn't stop lying until he's made accountable. A liar gets away with it, he lies more and more. Pretty obvious. People, we got to get truth back into the country. We got to get truth back into the media. We got to get the negativity out of here. People can't go around lying about other people just for their own self-power. We don't need them kind of people. We don't need those kind of leaders. We need a leader that's going in there for the American people to make this country strong, unite this country, and not to be so stupid or ignorant that once you do something, if you're doing it righteously, and somebody comes in and says, hey, we could do it better because you missed this or you did that, and we don't change. We should constantly change to be right and do what's right for the country. It really upsets me where we're going in this country. And believe it or not, the American people are working hard, and they just give up sometimes. They just don't have time to keep fighting because it's laying on deaf ears. You ever hear the good cop, the bad cop? We just voted a whole bunch of people in to do their job and to stop what was going on. And all of a sudden, they give away the farm, to so to speak, and they get confronted on it. And what do? Make excuses. Well, we didn't want to shut down the government. We didn't want to do this. Hey, excuses get you nowhere. As a true leader, I can't tolerate excuses. Excuses are just a reason to not do your job. As a leader, I'm looking for solutions. And I don't worry about touchy-feely things. I don't worry about other things. Let's just get the job done and do what the people want. And what happened to that? It's getting so sickening that you just don't understand even why you're voting, because you vote these people in to do a job and then they turn around and don't do it. It's like good guy, bad guy, and they're going to do what they want and they don't really care about the American people. Did they lose their brains? Did they lose their thinking? It really is a very big concern of mine. I'm putting this tape out once again, and I'm not a speaker, and I'm not a politician. I never will be, and I don't even have the desire to be one. But I do have the desire to care about this country. And right now, not only is our leaders so self-righteous it makes me sick, the American people seem to not seem to get up in arms. And if we don't get the American people back together and get concerned about right and wrong and get over this playing games with one another, and throw out this touchy-feely crud, doesn't matter. I mean, I could think of 100 things that if I want to go out there and say that offend me or upset me. Tough, this is America. Who said I got the right to worry about if I get offended or not? Don't look at it. Don't go there. I got a right to believe my way. And boy, I got a belief on everything in life. I've been around a long time. But that doesn't mean that that should be shoved down to the American people. So with that said, and I have a lot more to speak about, but I hope I didn't ramble on too long and just shoot out a bunch of stuff and confuse people. But we need change for uniting the American people and making the American people responsible and strong and feel good about themselves by being all equal into the scheme of America. And just because somebody's a president or something else doesn't make him any better than us. It just means that we expect him to be a good leader. I don't care how smart he is. If he's a bad leader and he's a liar, he's worthless to me. He's absolutely worthless to me. And believe me, there's a lot of things that have gone on in the last few years that I still don't have the truth to, and that upsets me. People have been assassinated, killed, died, all kinds of things have gone on. And for some reason, the American people are blind to it. Doesn't mean that I know everything, but I do hear and I do listen, and it's pretty tough to know what's true and what isn't nowadays. That's the other sad thing about it.